Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to help. I wanted to help the environment, animals, people, even imaginary creatures. When I was on the swim team, I started a club called the Animal Savers Club, which ironically just took beetles out of the pool. Little did I know that this would begin a lifelong journey of discovering what helping means and understanding there are wrong and right ways of going about it. I want this story to be my real story, not the glorified version I tend to tell people, but the raw version that shows my vulnerabilities. My story has had lots of rainbows and butterflies, but also a few big storms along the way. Through time, I have reflected on my experiences, especially on those that I initially thought were beneficial. I am determined to learn from my mistakes and proceed in my career with open ears and an open heart. One of the earliest mistakes I made had to do with service. Service, a word I have slowly steered away from, should not be selfish. My freshman and sophomore summer, I went on a mission trip to West Virginia with the local church, something I thought would be helpful and fun. I was not religious, but I wanted to go to a new place for a week in the summer and support the local community by fixing up and building houses. I also thought it wouldn't hurt to have this in my experience section when I applied to colleges. We didn't interact much with the man we were building the house for, and it felt more of a vacation than a trip to serve, reflect, and possibly form a relationship with God. I learned a couple things from this experience. The word service can reflect a one-sided relationship. The word assist seemed to better reflect the type of work I wanted to do moving forward. Assist to me means working side by side with an organization, community, and the people building relationships and listening to their needs and desires compared to assuming we know what is best. April and May of my senior year was where my first major storm took place. I got rejected from my dream school, which happened to be the University of Minnesota, and I didn't want to stay close to home or attend a different university. It seemed that all of my other friends had everything figured out except me. I felt shameful, confused, and overwhelmed. Then, I decided to take my life into my own hands, because I realized no one else was going to do that for me, and I took a leap. Instead of following what I considered a traditional path of going to college right away, I decided to take a gap year and try and figure myself out. My goals for this gap year seemed simple: help, learn, discover, and thrive. After graduating high school and saying goodbye to my friends and family, I got on a plane and moved to Cabarete, Dominican Republic. I volunteered at a small Montessori preschool called Tres Mariposas with Haitian, Dominican, and expat children. I had dropped out of Spanish my senior year and was not nearly prepared for this endeavor. I worked 7 hours, 5 days a week, assisting in the classroom, taking the kids to different sport activities, making a library, playing with them, and overall getting to know them. It was a tough reality when I realized it is not always sunny in paradise, so to speak. My eyes were open to the awful reality of some of these children's daily lives. There were circumstances of child neglect, mostly due to the horrible economic circumstances of the country, and many situations of child abuse. I had created such close friendships and felt like I was really doing good, but life never works out the way we want it to. My mental and physical health were suffering, and I had to make the heartbreaking decision to come home early. Again, I felt like a failure, but I had discovered something new throughout all of this. My passion and my goal was to help and assist in the healing journey of those affected by abuse, trauma, or extenuating life circumstances. With my newfound passion high in my mind, but with my morale low, I moved back to Madison, Wisconsin and started taking classes at a local community college. I steered away from history classes, which I had loved so much in high school, and began taking criminology and sociology classes. I reapplied to four-year universities, worked as a waitress, and waited to see where my life would take me. And then, I got it, my acceptance letter into the University of Minnesota, the school that had initially rejected me. I finally felt like I could obtain the education that was needed for me to follow my passion of helping others and believe my life was back on track. My first semester at the University of Minnesota, I took a community engagement class. I was assigned to overnight shifts at St. Stephen's Homeless Shelter. This really kickstarted my desire to work directly with those affected by such situations. The recovering men in this shelter had life stories filled with hardship and perseverance and taught me more than I can say in this story. Over the span of my sophomore and junior year, I took 2 more community engagement classes, which varied a lot. One of the organizations I was paired with was COPAL, a Latinx grassroots organization which focuses on getting people out to vote. I was able to utilize my Spanish and help provide vital voting information. This experience showed me how valuable communication is, especially in another language. I now knew I wanted to continue with my Spanish education and utilize this in future careers. As much as I loved what I was doing, politics just wasn't for me. It was around the same time I finally declared my major, Global Studies, Human Rights, and Justice. However, it wasn't until fall of my senior year that I first learned about the Community Engagement Scholar Program and I found my niche. Through yet another community engagement class, I began volunteering with the Domestic Abuse Project. I did 12-hour shifts on their 24-hour crisis hotline. I was able to communicate directly with victims in need and help them safety plan, listen to them, and provide appropriate resources, and even utilize my Spanish. It felt as if every experience, the good and the bad, had prepared me for this exact moment in my life. Like all the roads were meeting at a mutual point and I figured out my purpose. The community engagement program has forced me to, in the best way possible, acknowledge who I am, what I believe in, and why I believe it. The essays in the class have pushed me to test everything I thought I knew. Although COVID-19 has disrupted my plans after graduation, just like it has disrupted millions of lives, I have learned that such interruptions can actually be putting us on the right track. I had originally planned to move far south or far west, but after my source of income shut down due to COVID-19, that is no longer a possibility, right now. However, where attention goes, our energy flows. My own little life motto has grown to be, if it doesn't work out, it'll make a good story, and if it does work out, it'll make an even better one. One day, I would love to be working side by side with strong advocates in the long fight to end gender-based violence worldwide.